Welcome to the Social Chameleon Show, where it's our goal to help you learn, grow, transform the person you want to become. Today, we're talking about retirement savings, 401k, whatever, anything in those lines, saving for different things. We want to kind of walk through some different models. We'll do our best to talk through it. If you're interested in seeing what we're doing, please head over to YouTube and you can watch the video. We'll be sharing the screen and going through an Excel document, throwing some different scenarios out there for you people to think about. This is what this is about. This is information. It's entertainment. We're not trying to give you or solicit financial advice. We're not financial people, planners, whatever. Here's some things to think about. I know personally, I never got started until late in life, and we're going to kind of walk through maybe one of those scenarios where maybe you're in your 30s, or close to your 40s, like I am, and you didn't really start well. See where you're going to wind up. Maybe you're close to retirement, maybe 5 or 10 years out. We'll kind of give you what that could look like if you only got that short time frame, which you can kind of maybe expect traditionally or historically with different types of returns.
Yeah, definitely. I guess I was just brainstorming one night. I'm like, we talk about all these, investment ideas, investment opportunities. Some of the stuff we talk about is, aggressive into business things. Sorry. I sneezed there. Aggressive into, making businesses and all that kind of stuff. And I was thinking, what about the average person who doesn't really want to start a business? They make enough money at their regular job and they just want to start putting money away for retirement. So that's kind of the model. Again, this is set in that model. And like you said, we're not, financial planners or anything, but hypothetically speaking, if you wanted to do this, this is just another tool that you can use to at least create your plan. You'll have to formulate and recheck every year to see if your plan is on track. And we'll also put this spreadsheet out and the examples that we have out so that you can use this on your own. Again, if you're listening to it on a podcast, you can check it out at thesocialchameleon.show, click on the show links and download it for your own personal use if you want to. That is our gift to you. Awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you can it's just an Excel file, Google Sheets. You guys easily plug in different options, different scenarios, quickly change things and see how they play out over. I think we have it set out for 30 years, 40 years, something like that.
26, I guess, to be exact.
And then you can if you want more, you can pull it out and make more. So easily adjustable for you guys.
Yeah. But anyway, enough about the technicality. Yeah. So for those of you that are with us on the podcast, sorry, it's more of a visual effect on this thing, but we will go ahead and describe everything that we're trying to do, at least on here. That way everybody can kind of follow along. Mm-hmm. And so this is the little spreadsheet that we have. So I have labeled it in the back. It's just IRA ETF worksheet. For those of you that haven't followed us before or heard about it, some of the more literature nowadays, mutual funds are getting rather expensive, rather pricey on their fees. So there are other things that you can put out there. So just as a little reminder, I put ETF and IRA. Can easily be a mutual fund or whatever type of investment vehicle you want to use. And from here, the first sheet, what do we have here? Is this 10% max? Is that
right? That's what we're going off. I guess that's the historical average for returns you can expect in these types of funds. You could also change this percentage to maybe you've got a high yield savings account or a high yield checking account. You can see what you can expect if you were to leave money in there at 2.5% or something like that, and see what that would look like as well. You can easily change the interest rate to match whatever source you're using for this model.
Yeah, definitely. And so this model was just created, hypothetically speaking. So we have the year here in the far left column, starting with 2020. As this airs, it will be 2019. So, this is actually genuine. If you wanted to use this right now, you could. You can just put year 2019 in there, or before you even try it, maybe you can practice this year, putting that money away or whatever the case might be. Just practice saving. And then that way you can implement this first of the year. But, don't let that allow you to procrastinate. If you can start doing it now, do it now.
Yeah.
And this is only includes your contribution to your 401k, 403b, whatever you have. If your employer matches that, then you basically just kind of add that to your contribution. You know,
or if you're self-employed, maybe you can put your own contribution in, and then also as your own employer, you can contribute as well. Something you could look into.
Yeah, definitely. So this is just in general. We're just going to keep it as simple as possible. If you are a bit tech savvy and you know how to manipulate this worksheet, go ahead and play with it. Have a blast, have a ball. That's what, you know, definitely like to bring awareness to things. And if you know how to take this idea and go with it, then go right ahead. So anyway, going down further on the sheet. So 2020 is the starting date. We are going to have a starting balance of absolutely zero. And from there, I said max contribution, but I think next year the max contribution will actually be $19,500. But currently now in today's year 2019, the max contribution that you can actually put in there is $19,000. Again, seek professional advice. They may give you other numbers other than that, especially if you're in the later years and you have a catch-up provision, and all different depending on what type of account you have. But anyway, I digress. So for this, so starting at 2020 with 19, and again, we're going with a 10% rate of return. If you think that's redonkulous and you can't get that, then okay, put a realistic number that you think you can do. You can change that number to anything you want. But anyway.
Yeah, we'll play with these a little bit in a few minutes and show you some different scenarios if you want to do.
Right. So, you know, at 10%, you put in 19,000, you just move the zero over. So you're going to get $1,900, and that's your gain. And then from there, you have your original sum of 19,000. So at the end of 2020, you will have the total value of $20,900. Yay! Hey, we got something. We're growing in there,
making money.
And then from there, again, the next year you're going to start with $20,900. You're going to contribute another 19, which gives you the total of $39.90. Then from there, you're going to get 10% return, which is $3,990. Then you're going to put all that together, and then you'll have a grand total of your second year of $43,890. So, you know, as you can see, the gains on this aren't really too amazing the first 2 years. But I guess what number do you want to jump ahead, or you want to keep going, or you just want to jump to year 5 maybe?
Yeah. So we can just kind of give people so if you kept doing that 19,000, nothing changed, everything averaged the same. So year 5, you'd be up to 161,000 and some change.
There you go.
And in 10 years from there, you'd be close to 400 grand and so on. And then we go down another, you know, by 2040, you would be looking at just under 1.2 million.
Nice.
So you can see how every so often it starts doubling. And so think about this now. Yes, these aren't spectacular late night TV commercial returns, but guess what? You did nothing. You didn't do any extra work. You didn't have to do any extra things. You just took the money you already are earning and put it to work for you. So think about it that way. You know, yes, you could probably make better returns if you did other things, but this avenue, you're not doing anything. The money's out there in the world. It's working for you. You're not doing nothing but what you already are normally doing. So take that into mind. And then, so at the end of our model goes down to 26 years, you'd be sitting on 2.5 million plus.
But I mean, just look at that though. You go from at the 40-year mark, you're at 1.2 million.
Yeah. So 20 years from now, you'd be sitting at 1.2 million.
But 6 years later,
yeah,
your money has doubled.
You doubled. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like that, you know, that's the thing that I kind of wanted to talk about this episode is like not very many people understand that.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of why I went slow when I was describing the first 2 years of this process. It's like you put 19 away, you get 20,000 and some change.
Mm-hmm.
Then you put another 19 away, you get 40,000 and some change.
Right.
You know, for most people, they're like, what's the point of that?
Right. Yeah.
But then, when you start getting down to, like you said, the 10-year marker, and you're looking at 1.2 million, oh, that's great. Like that's something if I can do that for 20 years.
Yeah.
But, the next 6 years after that 20 years, that's where the magic happens.
Yeah. That's where the big stuff starts happening.
That's where you get those exponential returns. Like you're putting in 19,000, but you're pumping out millions. Like,
yes,
I don't know.
So now, do another 4 or 5 years. You're talking another few $1 million, just double it up on top of itself.
Right. And, this is just hypothetically speaking, right? So if you wanted to, I guess, take this contribution. And again, this is just these numbers, I guess, we want me just, do we have examples?
Yeah, we have some example sheets that we can play with.
Okay. So for those of you that are watching on the YouTube thing, at the bottom, I'm just hitting examples so that we can kind of just learn how to work through this. For those of you that are listening to the audio, sorry, that doesn't really apply to you. But anyway, so I'm going to take these numbers here. And for those of you that don't know how to do Excel, you can kind of just watch me do this. But basically, you highlight and pull this little square, and that'll put those numbers down. Then, quick Control-C, all of these shortcuts, and just... But, if you don't know how to use Excel, don't worry about it. It's nothing, we're not doing anything that's unheard of here. But anyway, so.
There's great tutorials online. You can get, if you guys need help, don't hesitate to reach out. I can point you in some directions to help you guys.
Okay, so we're going out from another 4 years. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, another 4 years.
Okay, so another 4 years to 2050. Right, and I'm just going to put this out, and sorry, I'm going to add these up, and then voila, exactly.
Boom. So you went from 2.5 million to just under 3.4, just under 3.5 million.
Well, no, it's 3.8, dude. I don't know what number you're looking at, but
yeah, I'm sorry, 3.8 million. Yeah, so you've done a little over double. I'm sorry, 3.8 million, right? So you went from 2.5 to 3.8.
That's
just 4 more years.
And that's in 4 years.
Yeah.
So that, and again, these are astronomical numbers. I understand nobody needs $3 million in their retirement account. I don't necessarily.
I disagree. You never know what can happen. And that money is nice as we get older, there's a lot of health problems pop up. Things maybe, you want to do, you're not going to be earning any money. So you're going to be living on this and especially as we get older, let's say you retire at 65, the average person lives to at least 80. You need 20 years of money, saying you're not getting any pensions or anything like that, which is very likely nowadays. No, people aren't getting pensions. There may not be Social Security or maybe a small thing. You'll be living on this 3.8 million for the next 20, 30, 40. I mean, if you live to 100, which is likely, and especially as we get more technology, that's a very likely thing that can happen. You're going to, if you don't want to go back to work and you don't want to be doing other income generating things, you're going to want such a nice nest egg, so you don't have to worry about paying your bills when you're old. That's really not something that's going to be fun.
Right. And so for those of you that are wondering, maybe some of you out there are watching this and you are close to retirement and you're kind of thinking about, well, 3 million sounds great, but I don't know if I really need that.
Yeah.
There was a study out there, I think, called the Trinity study. So what people are doing nowadays is you take this total number that you will gross or accumulate in your working years. I kind of don't want to use the 3 million because that's just retarded. Let's go with the one that's just under 1.2.
Yeah. So start with 1.2.
This is again, if you put 19,000 away for 20 years, okay, you'd have just under 1.2. So you take that 1.2. Oh, I did not mess that up. But anyway, see if we can do that. And then, you gotta put the value. That's fine. Okay. I don't know what happened there.
You can just type it in or whatever.
Yeah. So anyway, 1.2. Not 2. And then from there, you take that number and you take 4% of it. Okay. So at a withdrawal rate of 4%, which means you take 4% of what's left in there, or just 4% of that number, and you withdraw that amount, like that, this is what you're going to be able to make every year. So this will be, oh my goodness.
So a good way to kind of work up to the number you're going to need is if you start with what your current living expenses are. Like say I need 50 grand a year to live. You can take that number and know if I need 50 grand a year at a 3 or 4% withdrawal rate, how much money will I need to accumulate to still live at that lifestyle? So that's a good way. You start with the end in mind, and then you work your way up to the ultimate number you're going to need. So whatever that comes out to for you.
I don't know how this does this, dude. But anyway.
Google Sheets is just a little bit different than Excel, but
yeah, it's all right. So,
you need K21.
Oh, is that what it is? K21?
Yeah.
So anyway, so for those of you that are out there, okay. So if I slide my little sheet over here. So if you have that 1.2 and you are at the 4% withdrawal rate, which 4% of 1.2 million, for those of you that are good at math, it comes out to $47,881. Okay, so that is, hypothetically speaking, you're starting next year with nothing in your retirement. You put 19 away, grows at 10%, equals 1.2. But what that actually equals is for the next 30 years, you'll be able to take out just under $50,000 a year.
Right.
That's only from this retirement account. That's not including Social Security or any other additional things that are going to be put in there. So you can kind of take that number and do that number with whatever you want, right? So if you want to continue on, right, like we said, to 2046, which is where this number originally started, and you have the 2.5 mil. So we'll just put that in there. So 2,500,000, okay, at 4%. And of course, this didn't change.
You're using the H cell, that's why. So use the K cell.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
Yes, for those of you learning. So sorry. So if you take that, then that comes out to, is that 100,000?
100 grand a year. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. So I mean, you see the difference between, you know, what is going on and how this is all going to work.
Mm-hmm. You know what? Some people are saying 3%. Can we see what 3% looks like real quick?
Sure. We can see. What do you want to do? 3% of the 1.2 mil?
3% of the withdrawal as a withdrawal rate of 3% instead of 4% withdrawal.
Yeah. I mean, whatever number is going to be comfortable for you.
There you go. 75,000.
But at 2.5, it's 75. And then if you want 1,200,000, then you're looking, oh my goodness.
Because you went from the H cell, but yeah. This is the fun about doing this live.
Yeah. But it's here now.
K21 times.
Oh, it just says that because I can't. I got to move my box here. It's just the value is greater than the actual box can show or something.
Is a text and can't be correlated to a number. Oh, I think the way you wrote it.
Oh, I need to add an
extra zero. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so 36,000.
Right. So if your lifestyle is a comfortable $36,000 a year, then you would know now you need 1.2 million so you can live that way for the next, in theory, 30 years at that constant withdrawal rate of 36,000.
Yeah. I think 3% is a good way to start. Yeah, 3% is kind of the conservative approach.
Right.
A lot of people still use 4%.
Sure.
So, you know, this is just how these accounts work. You have to keep in mind that, yes, while you're growing the account, you're going to put all the money into stuff and make it grow at 10%. And this is the part where you should meet with your financial planner to talk about. But once you have that money accumulated, you may not want to put all of it into growing investments, right? Because if it goes away, you know, we're using 10% as an average because there are some years that you may make more than 10%, but there may be some years that you actually lose.
Right.
You know? So, you know, you just got to kind of keep in mind that, you know, you got to put stuff out there in order for it to grow. if you don't put your soldiers out there to work, they're not going to grow. But at the same time, some of your soldiers die. So,
and I think this is a good thing to. It's so hard for us as humans to think this far in the future, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Like, what am I going to need? So, but if you looked at this and said, we make 36,000 a year. That's where we, maybe that's not what you make, but that's what you guys use and that's what you live on. And you can go and say, okay, we're going to need 1.2 million. And as the years go on and things go up and down and up and down, you'll have less anxiety about this because you're like, listen, I know it's 10, 15, 20, 30 years from now. And then we're going to 1.2. I know there's going to be ups and downs, but we already know, we've done the math, that eventually when we get to our target goal date, as long as we have that 1.2 or more, we're set. And you can kind of help with the anxiety of this, the ebbs and flows of the stock market and of life and things, and say, it's okay, things are up now, that's fun. Things are down now, that's fun. But we know where we're headed. We know we're going to get to this 1.2. And I think you can take a lot of stress off yourself and you can start to visualize this a lot better.
Yeah, and just kind of understand that, this is just hypothetically speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's always good to plan for things. I like planning for things, and this is just one way that you can plan.
Yeah.
You can get out there. Like I said, we're going to make this sheet available. And if you're listening to this, like, think about it. Like, how much money do you make now a year? Mm-hmm. When you retire, don't you want to live the same lifestyle, if not better?
Yeah. Or
maybe you have a higher paying job now. Let's just say you make $100,000 a year, but you only need $36,000 a year to live. Like, great. You can start using this model. It's a perfect model for you. In fact, you probably not only do a 403B, but you start an IRA on top of that and put money into that and have that grow at 10%. Like,
yeah, you open up a lot of options. So with that, let's say you're asking, this is my mom. I'm gonna use it. When I get to 1.2, I'm going to stop contributing. What would that look like going forward in this model? So at this year mark, zero out the contribution from then on.
Right. And that's the other beauty of it too, right? If you know what that number is, it's like, dang, man, I've been putting 19,000 away for 20 years.
20 years.
Like, I've been scrunching. Now I'm going to live the good life.
Right. So let's zero this out and see what you would still even see a grand total in year 50.
Yeah, so this is going
to
be
from 2041 to 2050. Let's make that zero. Yeah, and just zero all the way down.
Zero, and then go all the way. Oh,
so this will take us out to 2050.
Yeah.
Well, still in 2050, if you're not taking money out, let's just hypothetically say, as soon as your portfolio hits that 1.2 is your goal, from then on you stop contributing until you hit retirement, which is going to be in 2050. You will still have a total of, what is it looking like? Just under 3.5 million.
Yeah, but see, that's crazy. You know what I mean? And that's the other beauty of it. It's like you put money up front, and like the end result is not that much different.
Yeah.
It's like you gotta do the work up front. And maybe there's some millennials out here that, you're like, oh, I don't want to put 19,000 or whatever you want to put away for 40 years. Okay, then don't.
Let's do it for, how about let's see what 10 years looks like at 19,000. What does that look like?
I was going to say 5.
Okay, let's say 5. Yeah. Let's go from, so 2025 is your last contribution year. So from 26 down, we're going to go 0.
The way this is done is, so we're actually, you don't want to contribute. We're going to put 19 in and 20.
Yeah.
And we're going to put 19 in 1, 2, 3, 4. Why does that look like 5 years to me? But anyway. Okay.
Let's just do from at the December 31st, 2025, you just stop. No more contributions forever. What are we looking at?
So if you just did that for the first 5 years only, right? Yep. And in 2050, you'd have 1.7 million.
Right. You could expect to have somewhere around almost 1.75 mil, which still puts you above your target goal in this scenario of 1.2 million.
Exactly. But, this is for people that have that time.
Right.
So if you're starting in your mid-20s and you're like, okay, what should I do? How should I invest? Most people think about buying a house first. And it's like, okay, You're going to save this money. You're going to put it down on a house, and that's good. I'm not saying that that's a bad idea. I used to sell real estate once upon a time. I still do every now and then.
Yeah.
But this is another consideration.
Yeah.
I mean,
even if you had only 5 years to go, you could expect somewhere around 160 grand at just 5 years of quick contributions. Say you're 60 and you're like, damn, I fucked up and I need to catch up. Here we go. You can expect to have 160K waiting for you in theory. If every year averages like we have it, that's not so bad either. That's going to really change a lot of people's things. Maybe that is the difference between you working another 3 years instead of 5 years, or, or pulling from here instead of there, or leaning on your kids or something to do things for you.
Yeah. And, again, that's why we want to go ahead and grab this worksheet, put it out there for you to play with and use. But what about those people out there that, they don't make $19,000 a year?
Oh, yeah. Right. I don't have 19 grand to put away. That's a max contribution. What is that a month?
That a month is a little over 1,500.
Okay.
You put 1,500 away every month, that'll be 18,000.
Okay.
Just
Rance, I can do $100 a month.
Okay. All right. So $100 a month. So we're talking about $1,200 a year.
Let's see. What does that look like? I'm fresh out. I'm fresh out of college, man. It's my first job. That's all I can do right now. I got to get my student loans paid off. I want to also save for a house.
Okay. So again, see, this is the model. You only want to put $100 in a month, and that's fine. $1,200 a year. And again, this is just for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Assuming that it grows, you invest everything and it grows at 10%. Mm-hmm. Let's just say, let's talk to real people here. You are 25, right? This is a real scenario. 25, first job. You know what I mean? You put money in from, year 2020 to year 25.
25, yeah.
Right? And then by year 2050, it's 25 years later. It's like
110 grand.
110 grand, and you only put in what?
First 5 years.
7 grand, something like that.
Yep.
Like that's still something.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not as astronomical as $1 million, but you know what I mean? Like,
what if
again? This is $1,200. Like, you can continue to do this throughout your entire life.
Right.
Pretty sure.
How about this? How about the first 5 years of my life I maxed out at 19? What do I end up with?
We did. And you end up with you end up with like 1.7 mil. I think.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, right. So there you go. Even the first 5 years of your life, you can just do that.
Right.
Then,
but I mean, let's take this example further.
Yeah.
Right. We already know that you have to keep contributing.
Yeah.
And that the gains don't really pick up until about 20 years later. That year from 20 to like 25 years, that's when you start getting the exponential growth. But if you can put away $100 a month at 25, you should be able to continue to put $100 a month.
Right. You know what, Ransom? I got promoted this week. I got a little bit of a raise. I'm going to do $150 a month now.
From here? From 25
years.
Yeah.
I'm going to do $150 a month a year. So let me see that. So 150 times 12 months. Oh, excuse me. I hit the wrong button here. So $150 a month times 12 months. We're looking at $1,800 a year. Let's do that for the next 5 years. So we did the first 5. We contributed $1,200. Next 5 years, we're going to contribute $1,800. So out to 2032, we're looking.
Okay.
So you're looking at, So now we're looking at the end of, in 2050, you're going to have about 200 grand.
But you see what I mean? Like, that's where we already know that, like, and this is kind of the things that you can work on is like start small with 100 and then keep going.
Right. So
and
go from, and you can play this game at home with yourself and say, okay, you know what? And then for the next 5 years after that, I can do $200 now.
Yeah. So it's 24.
And so then they start playing with that.
Yeah. And then, so you can just kind of go in here, grab this, and then just take it down,
Oh, here we go.
And then look, you're just like, you're getting closer. But let's just say you wanted to do $200 a month for the rest of your life, all the way to, okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, it's out there. It's like 338,000. Like, it takes $200 a month
Mm-hmm.
to make $300,000.
I'll take that deal all day a week.
That's it. It's crazy, like at how exponential that is. Sure, you're going to do the 4%. That's may not be enough, but
right.
The thing is that you're starting it. This is money. This model is designed to be an IRA account or whatever the case might be, where you can't touch the money without penalty. But there are certain things you can do. Like I know for a fact you can grab some of that $300,000 and take it out and use it as a down payment for your house. And then from there pay that money back to your IRA to give whatever kind of percent return you want. You loan it to yourself. And then now you're going to get 4% on the money that you loan on top of the 10%. You know what I mean? Like you just kind of got to think about things and how it's going to go. But just understanding that if you start small, and like Tyson said, like, yeah, you can only put $100 a month now, but as you get older, as you make more money, you can put more and contribute more.
Yep.
And
that's something you want to think about every few months, every year or something. When things happen, when you get a raise, like, okay, I got a 3% raise. I'm going to take 1.5% extra. I'm going to put that into my thing. Different scenarios like this, you're going to start to get paying off. Let's say, I paid off my student loans. It took me 3 years. Now, guess what? Instead of $1,200, starting year 4, guess what? I got this extra $300 a month student loan payment out. I don't have to make anymore. So now I got $400 extra a month. I can put it towards this. And you can start, and then, as things go on in life, you constantly reevaluating, constantly, if you know your target is 1.2 million, you've got to figure out, what do I need to do to get enough money coming into this scenario every month? And you can start playing with it. You can start changing these numbers every, 2-3 years, upping it a little bit more, finding out to get to your target number. And then you can start making those adjustments.
Yeah. And then another thing you can add on this is like, just keep in mind, for millennials out there, like this is 2050 is only 30 years.
Yeah.
You can keep doing this all the way down to year 40.
Yep.
Whatever the case is going to be, it's like, you're going to go 40 years. That'll take you, 2060. And basically you just grab all of these columns. Oh, sorry, I gotta delete this one. Hopefully that.
You just grab the whole row and just drag it down.
Yeah, and then we'll do all of those, and then just slowly but surely. But yeah, keep in mind that if you're a millennial, $100 a month in 30 years, I'm going to have 300,000, right? But you have a lot more time than I do,
right?
It's like time is on your side, and let's just kind of drag this out for 40 years, and let's see what you come up with, right? Yeah. So basically, $100 a month for the first 5 years. The next 5 years, you change it to $150 a month, right? And then after that, $200 a month, and then you don't touch it, and we're just slowly. Sorry, I gotta move all these columns down here.
No worries.
And then, you could have helped move some of that.
I could have. I didn't think about it.
Yeah.
I think you're creeping up on $1 million,
right? And this is $200 a month.
No. For what? $20 a month for how many years is that? So from 2032 to 2060, you're just doing $200 a month steady every month for just under 30 years.
And then, and that's not including if you would have started from $200 when you were 25.
Right.
So, just keep that in mind. It's like, this 1.2 million seems like something that's unreachable. It's like, really? If you're 25 right now and you got a decent paying job and you make, let's just say, you're 25 now, you make $36,000 a year, you can put some of that money away.
Nope.
Like that's not even 10% of your income, right? We talked about this in Richest Man of Babylon, right? 1/10 of your income should go back to pay yourself.
So do that. Start that. Let's see the 3,600 right from the top. Just do 3,600 and just all the way down. $3,600. You just do. Yeah. You forget about it. You set it. You forget it, and you never go back and change it. You just always doing that initial 10%.
And this comes out again to a whopping $300 a month, people.
So run that down for the whole column for 36 years. So 40 years.
40. Okay.
$2 million. Yep. Your initial 10%. I'm sure you got raises over the time, and things have changed over the years. But you're over your $1.2 million target now.
And again, this is all simple math.
Right.
Very, very simple math. So just picture this. If this is you listening to this video, you're 25 years old, you make $36,000 a year. You're sitting here thinking, you know what? I don't really know what's going to happen in life, and I don't know how to make $1 million. It's that easy.
Yep.
Put 10% of it away, and with that 10%, put it into some type of account that's going to grow 10%, and just continue to do that for 40 years.
Yep. And now imagine if you're constantly updating this and adjusting this when things happen, these numbers are going to start to get bigger and bigger and bigger. In 3 years, you get a raise. Now you're making 42,000. So now your number changes. And in 5 years, you get a promotion. Now you're making 96,000. And these numbers start to grow. That 10% grows. This is going to start to explode, like we've seen earlier. We start getting up onto max contribution level.
Right. We're talking about the max contribution. But if you noticed, right, when we did the first one, you have to max contribute for 5 years, right? We did it.
Yeah.
You put 19,000 in, that comes out to just under not $150, but $1,500 every month,
just for 5 years.
Yeah, you won't even hit what you would do if you put $300 a month in for 40. Mm-hmm. Like this is where the math adds up. This is where time is on your side, and this is where, you know what? There's going to be years when you lose money, right? If you were in the market or you had one of these accounts, a 401k account in 2008, guess what? That 401 account maybe went down to a 101 account, you know? You know what I'm saying?
A 01 account, yeah.
Or whatever, it like got cut in half. But as you continue to stay in the market, I was doing real estate at the time. A lot of people were asking me, I lost half my money. What do I do? It's like, stay in.
Leave it alone.
The government bailed us out. Like, it's going to go back up. And most of them got back returns the next year. Right. So, yes, after expansion comes recession. But after recession comes expansion. So
that's the thing. When you have a target in mind, you have a goal in mind, you're not worried about these day-to-day things that are happening. You're not panicking saying, oh, my God, like this past December, people started freaking out. Listen, it's just a month. It's just a few weeks. There's ebbs and flows. I know I'm staying true to the course I set. I know what I need to do every month, no matter what happens. In the end, I know I'm going to get to my goal.
All right. Any other scenarios we want to run? I don't know.
I think we ran through some fun scenarios for people to know. I think hopefully one of the most eye-opening scenarios is you sacrifice 5 years, you max out, and in the next 30 you can not contribute if you wanted that plan, and you could be okay.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Or the opposite. If you're in the millennial category, you got time. $300 a month.
Yeah,
$300 a month will get you 1.9 million in
40 years.
Yeah. Yep. If you want to go with 200, let's just run. Maybe we'll just run that scenario. $200 a month, just in case.
Forever. Yeah.
You want to know for 40. And
you could still have a $36,000 a year lifestyle.
I'm sure you. Oh, is that what it came down to?
Yeah, 128.
See, and that's the crazy part. Yeah. You put away $200 a month for 40 years, and that's the same as putting away $19,000 a month. I mean, $19,000 a year
for 5 years.
For 5 years, like 200 versus 1,500. Like.
Let me see this. Let's do 20 to 25 max contribution, and then from then on $100 a month.
Okay. And this is
what does that come out? So 20 to 25 is 19,000, and then for the rest of your life you're just doing $100 a month.
100? Okay.
Yeah. So you're not quitting, but you're just putting like a bare minimum maintenance kind of amount of money in there. So first 5 years, you knock it out, And then you just do 1,200 a year for the rest.
Okay. But again, that's the whole thing about doing this.
There you go, 3 mil.
Yeah. But see, that's the part where it adds up year after year after year after year.
Yep. You sacrifice those first 5 years, and then you just put in a bare minimum $100, and then 2060 you'll have 4.3 in theory.
Right. And then again, this is with time on your side.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody has, time like this, 4 years. I know I don't have 40 years, but it just kind of depends where you're at. So, for those of you that are listening to this podcast, I know it's hard for you to see us manipulate the Excel spreadsheet. But maybe if you go home and you watch the video and kind of see how we're manipulating it. Mm-hmm. The other thing I want to show people how to change is basically this row has a formula of the percentage. So if you wanted to change this to 8%.
Yeah. Right? So for you guys on a podcast, so we're just clicking on that top row there, and then you see the column times a percentage. So right now it's 0.8, so that would be 8% interest.
Yeah, so you can change that, but again, and then from there, the box that you highlight has a little tiny square in the bottom. You just grab that and then click it,
pull it all the way down,
and that'll change it. So if you're one of those skeptics out there that you think 10% is too much.
Yeah, you're still looking at that. Something's wrong because that's trillions of dollars.
Yeah, maybe 0.8. I'm sorry,
0.08. Sorry, yeah, and that's okay. Again, we start to see funky things.
The video doing it live, but yeah, 0.08
is still trillions of dollars.
Oh, because we didn't change it all.
You got to change it all the way down. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you just change the formula at the top, drag the tiny square.
There you go. 2.16 mil.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you think 10% is not enough, then and again, if you think that's not enough, you want to change it to 5%. Again, this is 5%, and starting at the whole, if you want to max it for the first 5 years, then put $100.
The rest of your time.
Okay, at 5%, you're getting close to $1 million.
You're getting close, yeah.
But again, we can play with these numbers. We're showing you how to change it 5% all the way down. But in real life, if you wanted to keep track of it, this would be 5%, right? And then this one would be 8% or 10%, right?
Right. But this year we had a 12% growth.
That kind of stuff. And then you can put, negative effects in here, and you can change your contribution. So, if you want to get really technical, like me, I like to get technical, you can kind of play with this how you see and fit. So, but anyway,
I like to,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. I like to, Ransom likes to get granular with it. I like to just do something like this. It's like $100 a month. Okay, sounds good. I'll reevaluate in 6 months. I'll reevaluate in a year. And that's how I like to do things. It's just simple. I just keep it cut and dry, and then I just move on with my life. Yeah.
So, just, again, sorry for those of you that are listening to the podcast, but again, if you're interested and you're listening to some podcast, just go on, click on the show notes when you get home, and, you fast forward the YouTube video or the video that you're watching it or whatever source you're doing, and just kind of see how we're playing with the sheet. Also, if you guys have questions, don't forget to email us or contact us, leave comments.
Absolutely.
Whatever you want to do, but we just want to put knowledge out there and make people aware of hey, these are things that you can do. We want to talk about all kinds of things in the show, not just things that are geared towards business. This is for the everyday person. Like that, we gave that example. You're 25, you make $36,000 a year, never going to amount to anything. No, you're wrong. You can change your life.
First of all, change that thought. And second of all, yeah.
But anyway,
it doesn't have to be complicated. And the thing I like about this is you can start to see yourself winning. You can start to see progress. You can start to see these things that make it hard sometimes. And you feel like you're just butting your head up against a wall. Like, I got student loan debt. I got this car payments. It's like, but when you look at this and you start to do it and you start saying, but I'm winning here. And I know when I look out at my future, I know I'm going to be okay. I know things are going to be okay. I know I'm going to have money. It's sucking now. Maybe I got to go from Louis Vuittons. I got to come down to Nikes. And then, one day I can go back up. You got to make those things and understand this. And I think, like I said, this helps you to win, helps you to start to see success happening and really get your momentum moving. And once you get these habits built, then you'll stop to think about it. You'll start to stress less about these things. Get those habits built. Use systems to automate things. Most employers will take this money out for you. You can automate things when you get paid to just go places. There's lots of tools for you guys out there, and some different things you can use to help make this stuff out of sight, out of mind kind of things that really help a lot, especially with money. If you got $1,200 in your account, and that, even though maybe somewhere else you had another 1,000 go somewhere else, you're not seeing that necessarily. If you can keep that out of your mind and start getting used to the newfound amount you're going to live on, knowing, listen, I'm going to put this away like this. I see where I'm going to head in the future, and just go about your life that way.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Again, that's just, I was thinking about it one day and I was like, hey man, let's just make this sheet. Let's make it available for people. Let's play around with it. And, that way people can start to come up with a plan and start to think about their future. This isn't just, something that is going to come your way one day and be like, oh no, I got to retire. What do I do? Like, you can start planning for this right here, right now, right after the show. Pick it up, start doing it.
Absolutely. I hope this was fun. I had fun. This is kind of fun to look at things and play with stuff and throw some different numbers and scenarios. I hope you guys had a good time. If you want to look back, watch the YouTube video, see how we're doing things. Like I said, Ransom said earlier, and we said before, you need help, please reach out. We want to help you guys. Whether it's manipulating the sheets or questions or whatever, we're not experts, but we'll either find them or point you in the right direction to find them. Some good resources on this we've put together in this particular show notes. Latte Factor is a new good book. We're going to be reviewing that next week. So stay tuned for that book review. A new podcast that I've been really loving on this subject from guys that really are more experts than we definitely are. Paula Pants, Afford Anything. If you guys remember the movie review, I got turned on to that podcast and I've been really digging it. I've been loving it. I've been thinking about these things in a different way. The sheet will be available for you guys to download or copy over to your Google stuff or whatever it is. I'll also leave links to past episodes. We've talked about a lot of different things around this subject. Please check those out if you haven't. Within those, there's also links to relevant things in that episode, whether it's books or resources, websites. Please check those out. They're here for you guys.
Yeah, one of the other books I want to recommend on this subject too is Tony Robbins' Unshakable book.
Absolutely.
He talks a lot about, this process and how in today's world ETFs are probably a lot more, I guess, profitable. They don't take as many fees out of your account. They're easier to manage and make less trades than mutual funds. But that's definitely a good book to read. Tony Robbins' Unshakable.
Absolutely. And then for this month's giveaway, please head over to thesocialchameleon.show/pickme. Every month, we're hard at work in the background. We're putting together different things, whether it's books, packages, sets, kits, whatever it is that we've come up with that we think is going to help you guys. It's helping us in our lives, helping us become better humans, parents, friends, neighbors, brothers, sisters, whatever it is, helping us get better. We want to pass it on to you, whether it's value, whether it's something to make your life better, make your life more efficient. Head over to thesocialchameleon.show/pickme. Get into this month's giveaway. If you know something or know somebody that a product or whatever it is that you want us to check out, please let us know. We're happy to check it out and see what we can work out for you guys. Head over there, check out what we got going on. And then for this week's challenge, I want to see action. I want you guys to do something. If you're not doing something, I was one of those guys. I was like, you know what? I don't need to do this stuff. I don't need to be saving. I'm going to be rich, and I don't need that. Boy, that was just a bad idea. I really blew a lot of years not putting these small amounts in. I want you guys to take that minimum amount in. A fun little thing we learned, taking that first hour of your work for yourself. So if you make $10 an hour, you take that $10 every day. That's yours. It goes to nothing and nobody else. So every week, that's $50 a week. That's $20 a month. I think we ran through that scenario and what that looks like.
Maybe.
So there you go. Go back if you want to rewind and see what that winds up being. But take that first hour for you. Keep that in your pocket. I know it can be hard. I know it sounds crazy. Tyson, $50 a week. I can't even put together 50 cents a week. It's tough, but you got to start. Start with whatever the minimum is for you. And if you are doing something already, let's see 10% more. Let's see 1% more. Let's start stretching yourself. Use these formulas, plug that in, challenge yourself. This week's challenge is to get action, take action. Go do it, guys.
Definitely. And then that takes us to our final thoughts. Retirement is all about time. So if you're in the younger generations, time is on your side. Start now. Keep it up. Keep up the good work. If you're in the later years and, you kind of get defeated by what the 5-year returns look, you know what? I guarantee you, if you just get started, I guarantee you with the experience that you have, whatever experience that may be, just get started. When you start looking at things, when you start breaking down things, you'll start to figure it out. Believe me, just get started.
And remember, that's just one source, guys. That's just one source of things. You can always do other things. And speaking of doing other things, if you got friends, colleagues, brothers, sisters, neighbors, cousins that needs to hear this, or you guys have been talking about it, share this with them. Have a conversation. You guys walk through some things. That's the best way to help yourself, help the shows, to share, pass this information along, spread the message of good things. If you like what we got going on, leave a review. If you don't like what we got going on, leave a review. Let us know. Between shows, you guys can catch us at the Social Chameleon Show on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can subscribe on the YouTube or your favorite podcast app for past episodes and links to everything we talked about here today. You can visit thesocialchameleon.show. And until next time, keep learning, keep growing, not just yourself, but your bank account and your savings, and transforming into the person you want to become.